Parame Guruve Namaha. A warm welcome to all of you this evening. We have today Deva Dashakam in original and also the rare opportunity to listen to it in Khasi language. I request Sri Mohanan, who has popularized Guru in Shillong, to introduce the singer Genevieve. Over to Mr. Mohanan and to Genevieve.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. See, I'm very glad to introduce. See, I am M.K. Mohanan from Shillong. I am from Pathanamthitta, but for last more than 45 years, I am here in Shillong. We have an organization called Sri Narayana Guru Cultural Center. It was established in 2004. Then it's the only organization in the northeastern states. There are 8 northeastern states, but this is the only Sri Narayana organization in this part of the country. But as you all know, this Northeast is the most important direction. Whenever you are making a house also, we always consider Northeast as the most important. But unfortunately, in this northeastern states, there is no Sri Narayana Guru organization. So we are trying our level best to reach into the non-Malayalis, the oneness, the Guru's teaching. So for that, every year we have been organizing programs based on the teaching of Sri Narayana Guru, attain freedom through education. So we give away education award, entrepreneurship award, and lifetime achievement award. Many personalities have visited this place. Even T.P. Srinivasan has visited 2 years back, and our Sachidharan, and the governor, who was Mushaheri, the IPS from Kerala, and he was the governor over here. He also was very closely associated with us. And we have been trying very hard to reach out to the non-Malayalis around here, the teaching of Sri Narayana Guru, the oneness. We have translated the universal prayer, the Devadashakam, into English, in Khasi language. Also, we have translated into Garo languages. And I'm very glad to introduce Srimati Genevieve Komti, a professional singer of Khasi traditional song. She sung Devadashakam in English, Hindi, and Khasi languages. It was translated into Khasi language by HWTCM, IAS retired former Secretary of Meghalaya. Also, it was translated into Garo language by Dr. Lorinda D. I take this opportunity to thank both of them. The same day, now Kamji is here with us, and she will be singing the Khasi Devadashakam. So, please, over to Geneva Komti.
Good evening. So, first I would like to thank the President of SNGC for giving me the opportunity to sing Devadashakam in English, Hindi, and Khasi. So tonight, I'll be presenting to you.
Can I?
Question number 5.
May I ever rock kitchen tandam lending may damat can biang don't cry but no yalan juni I benin iya kapur but kitchen crowd juni kumba kaduriyaw but kal air but kitchen juni kipin iya di bago kitchen bumpit juni Medei kamanta bat kabalet bat kabandang wandu deitang nami hapapar khan wat kien kabali krendu deitang nami niero ay bijil kram kabadak shapo shaban niero ay nejuna kajin chap amle kanlam yami
Thank you so much. That really was so beautiful. I was completely transported away. Thank you very much, Miss Genevieve. That was beautiful. Connected us straight to Guru through you and also to the Northeast. Now we have another very special person. I have the pleasure to request Srimati Sugita Ajit, who is a Shishya of Guru Muni Narayana Prasad and currently the director of the International Center for Sri Narayan Guru Study and Research, to recite the powerful universal prayer, Devadashakam, to start today's event. Over to Srimati Sugita.
I am praying without the support of musical instruments, only the instrument in me. Okay.
Okay.
ദൈവമേ കാത്തുകൊള്ളുക കൈവിടാതിരുന്നു ഞങ്ങളെ നാവികൻ നീ ഭവാബ്ദിക്ക് ഒരാവിവൻ തോന്നി നിൻപദം ഒന്നൊന്നായി എണ്ണി എണ്ണി തൊട്ടെണ്ണം പൊരുളൊടുങ്ങിയായി നിന്നിടും പോലുള്ള നിന്നിലസ്പന്ദനാകണം അന്നവസ്ത്രാദിമുട്ടാതെ രക്ഷിച്ചു ഞങ്ങളെ ധന്യരാക്കുന്നതും ഒന്നു തന്നെ ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് തമ്പുരാൻ ആഴിയും തിരയും കാറ്റും ആഴവും പോലെ ഞങ്ങളും മായയും മഹിമയും നീയുമെന്ന് ഉള്ളിലാകണം നീയല്ലോ സൃഷ്ടിയും സ്രഷ്ടാവായതും സൃഷ്ടിജാലവും നീയല്ലോ ദൈവമേ സൃഷ്ടിക്കുള്ള സാമഗ്രിയായതും നീയല്ലോ മായയും മായാവിയും മായാവിനോദനും നീയല്ലോ മായയ്ക്ക് സായുജ്യം നൽകുമാകും നീ സത്യം ജ്ഞാനമാനന്ദം നീ തന്നെ വർത്തമാനവും ഭൂതവും ഭാവിയും വേറല്ല ഓതും മൊഴിമോക്കിൽ അകവും പുറവും തിങ്ങും മഹിമാവാർന്ന പദം പുകഴ്ത്തുന്നു ഞങ്ങൾ അങ്ങ് ഭഗവാനെ ജയിക്കുക മഹാദേവ ദീനാവനപരായണ ജയിക്കുക ചിദാനന്ദ ദയാസിന്ധോ ജയിക്കുക ആഴമേറും നിൻ മഹസ്സാം ആഴിയിൽ ഞങ്ങളാകവേ ആഴണം വാഴണം നിത്യം വാഴണം വാഴണം സുഖം.
Thank you so much. That was so soulful and a wonderful rendition. Thank you so much. Now to get down to the main program. Today's Guru Anugraham lecture is Season 2, Episode 3, and is being delivered by Dr. R. Subhash. I have great pleasure in introducing him to you this evening. Dr. Raghavan Subhash is a scientist, the Senior Statistical Officer in the National Statistical Office of Government of India in Kollam. He got his PhD in economics from Bharatiyar University, Coimbatore, in 2019. His research is about the possibility of an ideal index of development. The study applied the philosophical foundation through the outline of One World Economics of Nataraja Guru. From 2000 onwards, he has been participating in the study program of Gurukula, and today he makes a presentation on the One World Economics of Nataraja Guru, an application of Advaita philosophy. Thank you, Dr. Subhash, for accepting our request and sparing your valuable time. Over to Dr. Raghavan Subhash.
Very happy to start a talk on this one world. I'm very fond of studying the work of Nataraja Guru. And in 2000, actually, it was Tanmaya Swami who introduced me in Gurukula. And I started a paper in 2000 about one world economics. And in 2009, I asked my valuable research guide, Dr. B. Vanida, to start a research study on Nataraja Guru's One World Economics. And our guide was very much appreciated by the valuable thinking of Nataraja Guru. And she told why people are not, or the academic circle is not introducing Nataraja Guru for the benefit of the humanity. But I started the issue of this one world economics and its application side. And after some time, after I think after 3 years, Madam told it is not possible to introduce a man-centered economics in the economic platform. So we started to apply this thinking, this philosophical foundation in the index of development. That is why I started a GDP as a sustainable and inclusive index, and how we can make the GDP per capita more sustainable and inclusive aspect. And the final aspect of my research concludes that GDP plus is an ideal index of development, and it should be the index of development for one world economics also. I can introduce this the philosophical foundation and its connectivity to the index of development later. First of all, I can this one world economics and one world education, one world religion, one world aesthetics, one world ethics, and a lot of one world aspects are there. And if you introduce everything in day-to-day affairs of our life, we can see infinite one world. In each family, we can experience one world. In the day-to-day affairs of the world, we can introduce this one world in an infinite platform. I am introducing this one world in economics, and its application is very much useful in agriculture, related to environment, related to other value planes also. And I can share my thoughts with a sharing of this a PowerPoint presentation. And first of all, I'm showing you the title of my paper. It's an application of Advaita philosophy, the one world economics of Nataraja Guru, an application of Advaita philosophy. Actually, it is not limited to Advaita philosophy. It's a starting point is Advaita philosophy, and Nataraja Guru moves towards the West also. So there is an east-west connectivity in this application of Advaita philosophy in economics. The introduction, I can show you certain points. So first, Advaita philosophy the proponent by Shankaracharya was revalued and restated by Narayana. And Nataraja Guru had given the term unity of understanding. And it is a unity of understanding.
I'm so sorry. I think you've gotten muted again. Can you unmute one more time, please?
I can start again.
Yes. We can hear you now. You said it's not limited only to Advaita philosophy. If you can
Actually, the Advaita philosophy, this research or any aspect of research in one world is from the center to the periphery approach. Unlike the other research studies, everything is going in a linear way. Here, we are having the central philosophical identity of the absolute as a normative norm. From that center, we are moving towards the economics. We are moving towards education. We are moving towards aesthetics. We are moving towards ethics. We are moving towards religion. Everywhere we can move, but from the center we have to move. From the center to the periphery, we can see a lot of things and a lot of connectivity, and that was provided by Nataraja Guru. That is an original contribution. I can compare Nataraja Guru with the connectivity between Socrates and Plato. Socrates introduced his philosophical thoughts in the marketplace and to the common man, and Plato introduced these thoughts in the academy. But actually, there is a perfect connectivity between the guru and the disciple. Like that manner, we can see the Socrates of Narayana Guru, and we can see the Socrates of the Plato of Nataraja Guru. So that much connectivity is there. If people are forgetting about the scientific connectivity of a right disciple, we are losing the very essence of Narayana Guru's philosophy. This happened because up to 1973, Nataraja Guru introduced these one world aspects in different field of human issues. And there is a gap afterwards in deal with the one world aspects. And I can show you, but the limited time is there. I can show you the main outline of this paper. And it is an outline only. And from this outline, we can develop towards a good index of development and issues in agriculture. Any sectors of the economy, we can correct the economic issues, and thereby we can correct the education issue, all interconnected. Without correcting the economic aspect, we cannot correct the education. Without correcting the educational aspect, we cannot correct economics also. But there is interconnectivity is there. That interconnectivity was first introduced in a philosophical platform by Nataraja Guru. The welfare of the humanity, this is the wording by Nataraja Guru. The welfare of the humanity and the suffering of even the smallest animal become the subject of equal concern in one world. So the humanity and the sufferings of smallest animal is the equal concern in one world. Actually, Nataraja Guru was very fond of caring even the street dog also. So one who is engaged in one world should be very caring, should develop a very caring attitude towards all other living beings also. These are important requirements for practicing in one world. It is the issue is there in economy in the age of globalization. The economy is the world economy is affected by environmental issues. One sports event in Delhi is stopped because of that oxygen deficiency. So environmental issues, global warming, so many issues are there. Intermittent global recession is set. The Mexican crisis, the Chilean crisis, the great, the 2008, this American recession, and so Japanese recession. So many issues are there, and the viral outbreak, and so many issues are coming out of in the and it is connected with the economic aspect also. Then this is one of the main outline of Nataraj Guru. The compartmentalization and over specialization of departments of knowledge is an impediment rather than a guide to healthy and intelligent life. Nataraj Guru identified issues in education, philosophy, ethics, aesthetics, economics, government, and for the first time given one world in the day-to-day life issues of the people. And he opened up a multiple research studies in one world education, one world economics, one world philosophy, one world religion, one world government, one world ethics, and one world aesthetics. And it was his disciple, Guru Nitya Chaitanya, who in fact introduced a one world psychology also. And the normative norm for such psychology was the consciousness. It was introduced in Psychology and Eastern Perspective, a small book by Guru Nitya Chaitanya. It's a dialectical thinking. This is an important aspect of one world. We have to connect with the all. The multiple issues are facing the world, and we cannot solve the issues in an analytical way. This is an important problem faced in economics and in education also. Nataraj try to correct the educational issues by introducing the personal factor as the normative norm in education. And based on that personal factor as a normative norm, he tried to integrate all value aspects in education, like that a pragmatic education, negative education, idealistic education, naturalistic education, and all these four branches of education are incorporating a full-fledged value dynamics in education. Similar way, Nataraj Guru introduced a man-centered economy. That is only possible through this dialectical thinking. What is dialectical thinking? Dialectical thinking refers to the ability to view issues from multiple perspectives and to arrive at the most economic and reasonable reconciliation. The dialectical way of interpretation can be used in visualizing development in normative economy. The analytical thinking I actually used in positive economics. I mean, GDP per capita is an analytical thinking based yardstick for development. But GDP plus, as part of my research study, I arrived at the conclusion that the GDP plus happiness is there, environmental aspects are there, all value dynamics are incorporated in an ideal index of development, which we can call as a GDP per capita plus, which is very useful in normative economics. So two sides of economics are mixed up together, and it is creating value issues, values. And we are sometimes in positive economics, something is more valuable. But in normative economics, if we are having the dialectical thinking, means we will get some other value dynamics also. So dialectical thinking is very useful, and it is an essential aspect of thinking in one world economy. Then the great thinkers were influenced by Nataraj Guru for one world economics. The Raghuvamsha and Kumarasambhava of Kalidasa, Candid of Voltaire, Walden by Henry David Thoreau, and the Tableau Economic by Quine, and this last by John Ruskin. Then the Gandhi's verse, Ralph Waldo Emerson's verse, and J.C. Kumarappa's one of the important work, The Economy of Permanence, is also there. Then the works by Saint Simon, Leo Tolstoy, Auguste Comte, and Thomas Carlyle are also recommended by Nataraj Guru for developing one world economy. I can briefly state an important aspect of Raghuvamsha. Raghuvamsha introduced a cyclical movement of wealth from here to the hereafter world. Our living beings in Raghuamsha is having equal importance. In Abhijnana Shakuntala also, Shakuntala is introducing each and every living beings as similar to the human being. There is no distinction between the self and non-self is correctly equated in Kalidasa's work. And the Kumara Sambhava is also very useful. These are the two works recommended by Nadaraj Guru for a value-based one-world economy. And Candid started in a palace, and its end is in a agriculture field. And Walden by Henry David Thoreau, Nadaraj Guru quoted, superfluous wealth will bring superfluities only. Money cannot bring one necessary for the soul. This is an important quote by Nadaraj Guru. And the tableau economic is wealth flow is introduced in a very systematic way in one world economy by Nadaraj Guru. And this undo this last, I think this undo this last is very is having an ethics in it. This and in this one world economics, John Ruskin should be the father of economics instead of Adam Smith, I think. And the works by Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was influenced by John Ruskin and Henry David Thoreau. Gandhiji's works also include the J.C. Kumarappa's Economy of Permanence, which is having so many value aspects in it. And these writers are also there, and their works are very valuable in the context of a one world economy. Then the key to one world. It's a unified or normative science based on the notion of the absolute, can serve as a regulative factor for the orderly integration of all branches of knowledge. This is the wording by Nadaraj Guru. A unified or normative science based on the notion of the absolute can alone serve as a regulative factor for the orderly integration of all branches of knowledge. Philosophy of Narayana Guru is capable of giving a fundamental revaluation in Advaita Darshana, which opened a space for the practical application of philosophy in life issues. It was Nadaraj Guru who stated that what is the difference between Shankara philosophy and the Advaita philosophy of Narayana Guru, and which in turn leads to the application side of one world economics, one world education, and this all one world experience. Because of two aspects. One, this philosophy is revalued and restated, and it is more practically applicable side in it. And the Darshanamala second and third Darshana, Sabhavada and Asatya Darshana, is opening up in integration of physics and psychology. The verse Vipajya Avayavam Sarvam Megagam Tatra Dishyade Chinmatra Magalan Iti Maya Viduragam. And from physics to the psychology and to the metaphysics and the infinite, there is a connectivity in Guru's Darshanamala, which is very useful for the integration of all branches of knowledge. And the norm for development, a philosophical foundation. Actually, the experience in one world was compiled in 1994. And where Nadaraj Guru told them, man is the economics is for man and not man for economics. This is an important statement by Nadaraj Guru. Economics is for man and not man for economics. The center is man and not the center is not economics. When man is taken as the center of development, the market value can be enriched to include all value factors like freedom, environmental values, housewives' contribution, the human capital enhanced well-being, ecological well-being, the societal well-being, happiness, life satisfaction, all other unaccounted, non-monetized value factors, and development to become humanity or people-centered. And 5 world conferences were conducted by Nadaraj Guru in 1970 to 1973. And in all these conferences, we can see the introduction of this one world economics, one world education, and all one religion, one world religion. And the Guru's direct disciples, especially the foreign disciples, presented it in a very beautiful manner. Especially Karen D. Bruler, Narayana Guru's one of the greatest disciple who tried to apply these aspects in economics. And he actually had given an outline for this opulence and abundance side integration in a beautiful picture. That is an important contribution by Narayana Guru's direct disciple, Karen D. Bruler. The Ashoka, Akbar, Mahabali, Dilip are the rulers who are absolutist standard of ethics. Economics and ethics were supposed to have prevailed. This we have to look into. This is the statement by Nadarajaguru. Economics should necessarily be most directly concerned with the happiness of the humanity as a whole. The absolute happiness is the only objective. This is axiological aspect. Man is the ontological aspect. From the ontological aspects to the happiness aspect, there is a perfect connectivity. It was introduced by Nagarjuna. The scarcity economics has created an impasse, which has climaxed and now understood that Parkinsonianism. This is an important quotation by Nagarjuna. And he tried to integrate scarcity economics with the plenty, economics of plenty. And in this economics of plenty, we can see the agriculture, we can see the environmental aspect, we can see the all living beings. So there is an abundance as it's having an absolutist center in that. And the scarcity or opulence economics is having other linear value aspects. The need for normalization in different branches of knowledge. But these wordings are from Nadaraj Guru. Varied units, standards, norms, and frames of reference by specialists in the various branches of science. Double and multiple standards also prevailing in the present day system, whether in economics, education, or any other field. For realizing these issues, we have to be connected with an Advaita philosophy, a non-dual philosophy, and we have to be to transcend the gap between the self and the non-self, and all unilateral boundaries dividing man from man, whether in terms of caste, religion, or any other aspects, geographical distinctions are to be transcended to move towards this normalization in different branches of knowledge. In many cases, there exist still violations of fundamental epistemological laws. So there is a epistemological violation in every branches of science. And the philosophy is actually not moving towards correcting these fundamental epistemological issues also. And it is more useful when the fundamental idea of one world or a fundamental philosophy of Narayana Guru is there. A unified or normative science based on the notion of the absolute, the consciousness should be the regulative factor, and unity understanding refers to truth that can make men free. Actually, these are some of the outlines. I am just going faster. You will get to some ideas also. And I actually got some key from Nadaraj Guru's works. Norms for different branches of knowledge. In one world philosophy, the absolute just the normative norm. The search for a norm in Western thought, one chapter is designed for in integration of philosophy, and the absolute is the integrating factor. And all other philosophical norm is connected and being perfectly integrated. So there is no east or west distinction in such an integrated one world philosophy. And based on that absolute only, all this application is coming in man in one world economics. It is actually the absolute, but in the subject frame of reference in economics, it should be man. And this absolute is again reincarnated as personal factor in education. The absolute is incarnated as self in ethics. The absolute is incarnated as self-happiness in religion. And the man in government or that political platform, and one world psychology, consciousness, all-filling knowledge. It was introduced by Guru Nitya. And broad guidelines in Kalidasa was identified in Nataraja Guru. Actually, the time is somewhat limited now. Broad guidelines. The available theories of ethics, aesthetics, and economics find a unitive treatment in the vast body of classical Sanskrit literature, particularly in the works of Kalidasa. This is the outline given by Nataraja Guru. From Kumara Sambhava, we get economic theories where all human values stem out of the context of Atman or self. For Parvati, we can see the Parvati, a modern dressing style is there. And Shiva is having a natural style. The natural order and the man-made order is sitting dialectically without having much problem there. In the urbanized area and the rural area also, we have to balance the things, just like Shiva and Parvati. It is actually we can connect this with the Atman or the self-will. The whole of Kalidasa's Rigomsha, which affords a simple ground for searching for normative guidelines and formulating a new theory of economics. This is the opinion given by Nataraja Guru. There's the economy of permanence. This was not suggested by Nataraja Guru. Actually, in Gurukula, one of my friend, Gurukula friend, in 5 or 6 years back, told this is more connected with the one world aspect of Nataraja Guru. It is there are some valuable economic aspects are there in that economy of permanence. The permanence is actually connected with the one world aspects of Nataraja Guru. And this is the fridge of Capra. Actually, one world aspect is introduced in a new platform by the fridge of Capra, particularly in the arc of that's I think fridge of Capra is one work is there. One chapter is designed for wholeness of health, and one chapter is designed for the that index of development and all. To Capra, that distribution and that production and exchange is only incorporated in the narrow-based economy, and the distribution and that consumption are tried to removed. And there is an agenda to remove this distribution and that consumption from the economic theory. And the neoclassical theory cannot accommodate all this value-based aspect in it. And there may be some criticism also about this. Actually, it is a one-world aspect introduced by Fridtjof Capra through integrating that physics and mysticism. Nataraja Guru integrated through physics and philosophy. So that distinction is there. And if you arrive at a man-centered economics, man is the absolute here. It is incarnate as man, having all values. There is a dancing of all values, symphony of all values here. And then we can see the man has to get the position of the central normative norm. That is that we can see in the experience in one world also. And I am just passing all those things. I can share these slides in the group also afterwards. Okay. One world economics is both inclusive and sustainable. So GDP per capita is not inclusive and sustainable because it is not having any philosophical basis in it. And opulence, problem visualizing of values in opulence and abundance, we can see in the works of John Ruskin. It was designed by Karen D. Bruler, Nataraja Guru's disciple in this picture. You can see the abundant side up to and the abundance and the opulent side. And the next diagram shows its deterioration. Abundance is deteriorating. You cannot sustain the opulent side of the economy. And this the theory of opulence and abundance showed that there is a delicate balance between opulence and abundance sectors of the economy. Both sectors should be viewed dialectically and a balanced way. That is an important aspect of one world economics. And one world economist should be a dialectician, not an analyst. And measuring development are review approach. And review, for example, Kerala contributed to human development. And Kerala study of 1975 by Dr. K.N. Raj influenced the UN to develop the 1990 Human Development Index. Actually, Narayana Guru influenced the Human Development Index formation of 1990. That we can say, because 1975 study was the UNDP was so mostly influenced by the study of 1975 Dr. K.N. Raj about the human development aspect. And GDP per capita plus, this is my research finding, and the GDP per capita plus is a function of GDP and a sigma nx, n number of all excluded variables. A dancing of all variables with GDP per capita will make it as a holistic index for development for the one world economy. And one day, this is the conclusion by Nagarjuna, one day it will gather enough momentum to be a tangible force in the world affairs, reaffirming human solidarity for security and happiness for all. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Subhash. So it was really inspiring, and we know that you have really gone into the depth of it. So now we will open it up for anyone to come up with any questions or discussions around what Dr. Subhash has shared. So you can just unmute, whoever would like to, please unmute. So we know that this time is not enough for your presentation, but yes, you have given us just around whatever you have gone through. So yes, who would like to? Anybody who would like to go have any questions?
Doctor,
yes.
Good evening. Doctor, good evening. I am V.K. Mohammed, Confederation President. I would like to know the Guru's Tirthadana, how this it is economically viable when he has planned.
Doctor, you are on mute. You can unmute. You can just unmute and speak. Yeah.
Actually, Nagaraj was not interested in introducing research studies in the field of this Tirthadana or all those aspects. He was very much interested in the Advaita philosophy of Narayana Guru and applying this to the day-to-day issues. Fundamental research studies we cannot apply in the peripheral level issues and all. We have to see the long-term consequence and long-term benefit to the humanity. That was the idea. I am also interested in that aspect only. Not maybe very useful aspects may be there in introducing this Tirthadana or all those things and social reforming aspects to the world. It is a field of philosophy. People are interested, but actually I am not interested in that field, and I am not a person to make any comment on those aspects also. And we can evolve something from this. And actually, the real application happens in a value-based economics. It will be through one world economics only. And it is actually the Guru's Tirthadana in Advaita philosophy. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, I asked you because there is a hidden Sambathiya Shastra in Guru's Tirthadana. That's what I was asking. Anyway, okay, thank you for it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
From his speech today, I got a new word, dialectician. So we must all should be a dialectician. There is a new word to me. And Subhash, may you please repeat? In religion, absolute represents self-happiness. Absolute self-happiness in religion, and happiness in ethics. Am I correct? Am I correct, Subhash? Okay. Absolute
You are on
represents
mute.
self-happiness in religion. Hello.
Actually, the Akhiladu Mahatma Sugathinai. Akhiladu
Ade.
Mahatma Sugathinai. Atmavdesha Sadaka. It is there. Based on that only,
Subhash,
Nagarjuna told us.
Subhash, no doubt.
Oh.
It is no doubt. I want a clarity. I would like to have a clarity. It is no doubt. Absolute self-happiness in religion. Am I correct?
Correct.
Then
I
happiness
told it
in
is a different
ethics.
unit.
Absolute happiness in ethics. Man. Absolute represent man in political science.
Yeah.
Can you please repeat
Because,
that point?
because in each subject, the frame of reference is different.
Yeah.
Sometimes people interested in the study of education of Narayana Guru often utilizes the term self. Actually, that terminology is more useful in ethics. Narayana Guru never used the term self in education platform. And people are even research persons also utilizing this self norm in education. Self norm is more practically useful in education. Actually, incarnation is only a personal factor in education. That will integrate all aspects of education, many values in education. Okay. I am able to understand, and if anybody is having different opinion also, we can accept it, and because it should be an interactive section only.
And one more thing, Subhash. And abundance and opulence. I think that point can be more clarified if you can say an example for that. Abundance and opulence. One example for it. You have many examples with you.
In the pandemic lockdown period, we survived with the jackfruit. And the near garden, kitchen garden, we searched for food items. But
that's very good example.
We are moving towards the market. And in the, for instance, the Daniel Defoe's that is Robinson Crusoe, one person lived alone without depending on the market for 28 years. That aspect is abundant side only. Just grains of a handful of grains are enough for the satisfaction of the humanity. That aspect is there. But there is some criticism from the market side because we have to acquire goods. We can
and that
goods,
point is more
clear.
Okay, thank you, Subhash.
Thank you, Sugita madam. So as Dr. Sudhir has been mentioning, this topic it goes beyond, it's a vast topic and 1 hour is not sufficient. So, but because of the time constraint, what we have kept 8 to 10, I think we should move forward for the closure. So before that, I would like to call our the person behind who has been inspiring all of us for this particular platform is Dr. Jija madam. So I request madam to kindly talk about today's presentation from Dr. Subhash.
Thank you very much, Dr. Subhash. It was such a wonderful presentation. It opened up many horizons and vistas for us to just walk around, to study, to discuss, and further discover. I really did not know any of the aspect of unitive economics, and I'm really privileged that I got an opportunity to listen to you and your research, and you talked from Voltaire onwards, and one has to really focus upon these things, and I would really look forward to reading through your presentation to understand much more about the theory of absolutism. And the way you presented it sounded the most logical thing, and we should just kick the market economy and other things in the butt and go ahead adopting the theory of Nataraja Guru. We are really fortunate that we could listen to such a lecture and start thinking on another totally different new track. Let's hope that we will be able to develop this idea further and can come back to you for another lecture wherein we will get much more clarity about various aspects that you have introduced us to. Thank you very, very much, Dr. Subhash. Really wonderful that we could listen to you today.
Thank you. Thank you very much, madam.